everybody. Welcome to Set Pictures 3. I am Smurf, and we are doing Ringworld by Larry Niven. This is our second meeting on Ringworld, so today we're doing chapters 9 through 15, I believe, right?
Yep.
It's a really good book so far, and I've got fun people here with me, so let's introduce them. I guess I'll go on my screen. I've got Anessa first. Say hi, Anessa.
Hi.
And then next to Anessa is my wife, Lena.
Hi.
And then Rhiannon, who does not have a camera but is here with us in voice.
Oh, hi.
Hi. I cough more. I thought I was over this. I choked on a piece of graham cracker right before we started. Okay, that's good for a second. So, I've been really enjoying the book. How have y'all felt about it through this second part that we've read?
I'm enjoying the second part a lot more than I did the first part, just because they're actually seeing stuff and doing stuff, and things are happening.
Yeah, it's really
not like, yeah, it's not an entire chapter of being putsy and trying to get someone to go. So.
Yeah, for sure. There was a lot more action in this part.
And a lot more like discovery of the unknown. Turns out Ringworld's a really cool place.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of cool stuff in the first section, but in this section there's all kinds of crazy sci-fi tech and stuff.
Not even just like sci-fi, different like species of plants and stuff they have to watch out for. The sunflowers, which I mean, here on Earth, you know, they're pretty harmless. You eat their seeds, but on Ringworld, like they kill you if you get in their way.
Yeah, I really like the sunflowers. That was one of my favorite parts.
Yeah, and they're like, okay, we have to hang out with the clouds, or we need to hide.
Yeah, these plants will kill us, yo.
Yeah.
So there's also been a lot of character growth, and not really a lot of growth, but there's been a lot of change going on. We've learned a lot more about the characters' backstories.
Yeah.
Have y'all's opinions on any of the characters changed since we've started reading the book?
I was starting to kind of warm up towards Tila.
Huh?
And then I don't know, at some point it just kind of changed, and now she's starting to annoy me a bit. And I think part of it just has to do with her never having really been hurt or experienced pain, and so there's a lot of ignorance there. And then she finds out the truth about herself or her race, like previous generations, and she's like, oh god, I'm just gonna be pouty and not talk to anybody.
Yeah, she's annoying the crap out of me.
Me too.
Yeah, because there was one part where she was like, ooh, that's really neat, and here's an intelligent thought that I'm going to put out here, and here's another thing, and my math works out great, and now I'm just going to be really annoying for like the next couple of chapters.
Yeah, she hasn't really said anything really smart or anything like contributing, as far as I can tell.
Well, I mean, there was a couple of things where she I guess talked or thought about the math about, I forget exactly what it was. And she's like, oh, yeah, that works out. Or she might make a suggestion or like, hey, like this might be a good idea to try this. Mm-hmm. And there's only been like really a couple of those things, and now she's just back to being really annoying. I'm like, oh, maybe she's going to have more of a role, be, kind of contribute more to the story instead of just being the whiny person.
Yeah, I think the one thing that I do appreciate about her is that she's a little bit... she's like the only one that will leap before she looks, so it's like she kind of drives the adventure a little bit. Because she steps out there without a helmet on,
Yeah, well, she figured out right away that she should, probably put actual shoes on when she fell in lava.
Yeah. Like, oh yeah, lava's hot.
And then she's all pouty afterwards, because she's like, I got hurt.
Yeah, the pouting is getting old.
Yeah.
Although we do learn later why, like, they are extremely sensitive to pain, because they don't really feel pain that much, what with being technologically advanced and medical like they have access to anesthesiology.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that really surprised me.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it too on her part is just the whole being genetically uh, engineered, modified for being lucky. So the odds of her getting hurt are pretty slim.
Yeah.
So
Strangely enough, my feelings about Louis changed. I find him pretty immature for a 200-year-old.
yeah, I can see that.
In the way he treats Tila and just the way he does everything, it strikes me as odd a little bit.
He's kind of, well, Tila and Louis together are kind of like teenagers in that they're just kind of going through their hormones and they have to bone every chance they get.
But yeah, Louis kind of. I noticed he was, like, everybody's kind of pouty where I'm at in the book, because I'm a few chapters behind, but everybody's just kind of mad at Nessus and...
Well, they're still kind of mad at Nessus at this point, too. It's just,
they are.
Yeah.
they're finally, like, kind of sort of working with him again.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, they've been mad at Nessus, like, this entire time.
Wow.
Yeah, and they've just barely started really talking to him, like halfway through 15 or something.
Yep. So.
And it's only Louis that starts talking to him again.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, because, like, nobody... Well, there for a little while, like, nobody would talk to Louis.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Because, it was like Tila was mad at Louis, and Speaker was also kind of mad about everything. And just Nessus was like, well, everybody's mad at me, so... And it's like, fine, I just won't talk to anybody.
There was a really great quote when Nessus was like, how do I fix this? Like, how do I get the mission back together or whatever? And Louis was saying not to start the conversation in the middle or something. And I thought that kind of describes we've never really known what was going on.
Yeah, I think... Well, one, he brought up the conversation in the middle, but I think the other thing that brought that up, too, was the reader see that it was kind of a mid-conversation sort of thing going on with everyone, was the fact that Louis had, I think, turned the radio back on or something like that and heard Nessus singing.
Yeah.
And then Nessus realized, oh, like, somebody's listening. I'm going to start talking, like, mid-thought, go.
Yeah.
So...
So what about Speaker to Animals? Are you guys feeling anything different about him now? I know towards the end of the last section, so chapter 8 or so, we were I think we were all pretty suspicious of his motives, and we learned much more about his motives, other than now he's really pissed.
Yeah, he's really pissed. Which I can understand, like, his being pissed off because his race is very, like, aggressive. They're, very hostile species, and the puppeteers are going around and trying to breed his species to be more docile, and he doesn't want to be changed, and, that's part of his anger. And him being the ambassador is kind of a way for the puppeteer to see if the generations of doing this genetic modifications has had any effect on the species. I also just kind of feel bad for Speaker, just because his encounter with the sunflowers,
Yeah.
where he's like blinded and hard on
burnt.
Yeah, he's all fucked
bulk
up.
of his body. But yeah, and he ends up becoming more suspicious of the puppeteer from that experience, more than he was, because the medication and first aid stuff that the puppeteer had was like military grade that he shouldn't have had on hand. He should have just had, typical Walgreens first aid kit sort of thing. From what I gather. Band-Aids! Here's some Band-Aids, here's some ointment, here's some alcohol pads, you're good.
I think what I learned about Caesar was to take him a little bit more seriously because of their interaction with the whoever those people were. I don't remember what they were called.
The natives.
Yeah. There was a very violent description of his actions, so I was like, oh, okay, yeah.
Well, and Nessa is kicking the heart out of somebody.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Yeah, and Louis did kind of see that maybe, the puppeteers aren't cowards because of they're always turning around. It's because they're turning around to kick someone in the heart.
Yeah.
Or someone to...
That was cool.
Yeah. But the puppeteer is like, oh no, that's totally not us. I don't know if he's, in denial about what his species does, or if he's just, never encountered or been in a situation that would prompt him to kick someone and kill them.
Yeah.
Could be a mix of both, probably.
Yeah. So, maybe he doesn't want to be that.
I wish I hate animal.
It's gonna curl up into a ball.
Armadillo.
Armadillo mode, go.
Yep. So the plot so far has been kind of hard to read because, like y'all were saying, we really haven't had all the information, and we still don't have all the information now.
Yeah, we don't. We can kind of gather a little bit about Ringworld world, and I said we only can gather what that tiny civilization that they encountered, that tiny group of people, how they view their world, but they seem pretty isolated in that they don't really know what else is going on out there, so they seem pretty closed off.
Well, we know something happened pretty good long time ago.
Yeah, we know things happened a long time ago, like civilization kind of changed, and they're like, we'll just hang out down here. That's cool. We don't need flying buildings anymore. So, and then they have their religion with the mountain and the creators or God or whatever.
Fist of God.
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of cool how these natives see it as an arch, and they kind of don't know what they're living on anymore. I thought that was a cool point.
Just seem like they're on their own little spot.
I was going to say, but they can't quite be a planet because the sun just stays in the same spot, or they could be locked, tidally locked with the sun. I don't know.
They could, but that's why you have the tiles that float around that bring nighttime.
Yeah.
The darkness, whatever they're called.
Yeah, I forget what they're called, but...
The shadow squares.
There you go. Yeah. That's what they are. But yeah, the shadow squares, they've got that actually brings night to them. Otherwise, they would never have night, it seems like.
Kind of picturing, like, with where the natives lived, like, kind of idiocracy, because you got just, like, trash and junk and all this unused technology. That's what came to mind when they were talking about, oh, yeah, you can walk into the second floor because there's just trash and garbage.
Yep. They just kind of kept on walking all over it and packed it down, and it's a new surface altogether.
Yep.
So.
So where do you think the plot is going to? Since we really don't know, it's kind of a mystery.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know. I don't know if it's going to end up being like puppeteers have created the ring world after all, and they just want to see how, everything kind of went after a whole bunch of time. That way they know whether or not to build it for themselves, if it's a good idea.
Yeah, I keep coming back to, like, wondering who the engineers are.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be really important, obviously, because I've also found out that there's a whole book about the engineers. So.
Yeah, I think there's one about the puppeteers as well.
Yeah.
So, maybe it's the same book.
Maybe.
I don't know. I know that there's prequels written by a different author altogether, and I think that's where the engineers and puppeteers come in. I believe.
I'm not sure though. I can't really tell where it's going. There's like so many weird things have happened. I just don't know.
I'm interested to see what's in the map room. I haven't actually gotten to that chapter yet, but I'm like, ooh, I wonder what they're gonna find out. Like, what's the layout of the land?
That's like exactly where chapter 15 ends, I guess.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
the map room, yeah.
The map room, like, hey, I found a map room. Map room. The end. I'm like, I want to know about this map room.
What kind of map? What's a map of? Where's the map?
I think we're gonna learn.
I just finished that like right before we started. I hadn't really thought about the implications of them having a map of the world possibly now. That could be very useful too.
I think so. Unless it's just a map of someone's like house, then that's kind of lame.
This is a map of our city.
This is the map of the castle. Done.
I think that, like, the whole, I don't know what the last few chapters are, but do we think that there's just these natives, or if there are more advanced civilizations still existing on Ringworld?
I bet there's more.
Well, they don't really say so far, but I would think that they would have to be advanced as well as primitive civilizations. I mean, that's what we have here on Earth, so why not there? And it seems such a huge place, it makes it entirely possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what if the primitive race that we met is the advanced race of this world?
Well, we're going to encounter some Neanderthals.
Yeah.
And God help the Ringworld, because damn.
I have a feeling, my plot theory is that the puppeteers didn't build the world, but they've known about it for a while, and they're exploring it to see if they can habitate it somehow instead of fleeing the galactic expansion of the, whatever the cluster.
Maybe.
Yeah. Like, maybe they can fly the ring world because it's kind of built like the way they fly their world already.
Yeah.
Indeed.
They just want to make sure that they could commandeer it, I guess.
Yeah, entirely possible.
I'm wondering, too, if they are wanting to use the ring world to incubate other races that they can genetically modify for their own benefit, because that seems to be, a lot was revealed in these last chapters, that seems to be their thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if they're targeting the ring world for a purpose that has not been revealed.
Maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Modifications?
Mm-hmm.
I think there's definitely some ulterior motives, just from what we know of the puppeteers, what we know of Nessus.
Yeah, the puppeteers are weird.
Trixie Nessus.
Oh.
Excuse me. Oh, not doing very good tonight. So my next question I have written down, Leah wrote this for me, and it specifically says, creepy sunflower death race. What? But we've already covered that. I just wanted to read the question.
It just really freaked me out.
They're
I was like, what?
It's pretty rad. That's an awesome plant.
Yeah, I wouldn't have expected that when they had seen someone off in the, or something off in the distance that was kind of shiny, and then all of a sudden it's like, holy crap, what's going on?
Cool.
Speaker's like blind right now. What just happened? And they're like, oh, sunflowers. They're designed to channel the light in, and do the whole photosynthesis thing. But if there's any living thing that comes within a certain distance, and they just attack it for safety reasons. So.
Evolution.
Yeah.
Or genetic engineering.
Well, that's the other thing where the engineers come in, because, they're talking about some of the plant life and animals and stuff that have been brought onto the planet, and they wonder if maybe these sunflowers were also found on a different planet and brought in, and they knew of their potential dangers, but they had enclosed them in like a fenced-in area or something, and one of the seeds got out and just totally took off and spread.
I was wondering maybe the ring world's not like crazy old, and all of this stuff that they think has been brought there is actually from the ring world.
Maybe.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
I just like weird stuff. I don't know, man. I don't know.
I don't know.
This reminds me too of, I just thought about this, you know, the sunflowers are using light basically as a defense mechanism, but the native species like said that that wasn't allowed for them to use a light weapon.
Yeah.
I'm wondering what the connection there is. I guess we'll find out. I don't know.
Hopefully.
I like it.
So, have they come across any good visual references or anything? Other than the graphic novel, which I haven't seen in person to grab, but I've looked at a few pictures of online. It's pretty cool.
Aside from like some people doing their own representation of what the ring world would look like, I haven't seen anything that's been like, wow.
The graphic novel is in black and white, which kind of made me sad.
I noticed that when I flipped through it.
I was like, man, I don't know.
I want color.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could color it myself, but
Yeah, you just made like a giant coloring book.
Yeah.
yeah, I could do that. I did. The graphic novel is probably the best source I found, just to see what things look like. You know, I don't know. When we started reading, I did some like Google image search, especially for Nessus, because I had no idea.
Exactly.
Yeah,
what the graphic novel was like. But the graphic novel is actually pretty clean image, and it shows you what the native species looks like too, which is kind of cool.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
I just came across like this website, and it's talking about how the technical details of the ring world are legendary. So technical papers have been written about it and physics conference presentations dedicated to it. And it says implicit instabilities led to Niven having to write the inevitable sequel to explain how those instabilities are accounted for.
Wow.
Yeah. So he had to sit down and be like, okay, this is how this works.
Yeah, that was. I'd read that was his goal originally, was to write like an entirely feasible sci-fi novel,
Yeah.
or as feasible as you can be.
Yeah, and that is actually kind of like the book that we're going to be reading next, The Martian. It's entirely feasible.
Yeah, I'm excited about that one too. Me and Lena were talking about that on our way home from work earlier.
Yeah, it's pretty great, and just the story behind it's almost as interesting as the book.
Cool.
So, because he released, like one chapter at a time online, and people would kind of put their input and be like, "Hey, you did the math wrong on this. This is how it's supposed to be."
Oh, but
He worked out a lot of the math out himself because he's a computer programmer, computer engineer. He's very mathy in his work. And so he worked out a lot of the science, and he asked his chemistry friends and physics friends for help and whatnot, and tried to make the book as plausible as possible. So
That's really cool.
yeah, that's cool.
Anyway.
That's exciting.
No, I mean more excited.
I know. It's awesome. So yeah, but no, I just thought that was really an interesting blurb about how he wrote the sequel to explain some of the science behind the first book.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of makes me want to read the second book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did anybody else have any questions or comments on the section that we did?
I thought they were very trusting of this flying castle.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if I would have just like hopped into bed in this random flying structure.
I kind of feel like maybe they should have learned by now not to trust everything.
Well, I mean, the sunflowers. Come on.
I know.
Just look at this building. I don't know. I was
I
skeptical,
wouldn't
too.
have. I would have, gone to like explore, but I would have been very cautious. I would have been like, "Hey, I'm gonna hop into this miniature golf size bed and go to sleep."
Yeah, I can't think of anything else.
Yeah.
All right.
It's been really a good read.
Mhm.
Yeah, it has been enjoyable. like it a lot. I've actually got all of the prequels and sequels loaded up on my phone already, so
Nice.
Oh, nice.
I'll be checking those out too.
Sweet.
I guess we'll say goodnight.
Sounds good. I'm
And-
gonna go get going.
When's the next meeting?
The next meeting will be on. I don't know. That would be November 4th, right?
Yes.
Yeah, November 4th, 7:30 p.m. Central Time. We'll be back here, and we'll see you then.
All right. Sounds good.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.